Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. In this Warcraft Rumble HEROIC campaign guide, I'm going to show you the easiest way to kill Emperor Thaurissan in Blackrock Mountain. In the heroic version of Emperor Thaurissan, instead of fire elementals there are these molten giants, but we can actually turn that against the Emperor and just win real fast and real easily. So when minis start dying, then these pyres are going to go up and then the molten giants will spawn from here. Thaurissan also has firehammers, pyromancers, as Warsong raiders that have the talent that they only go for the base and ignore everything else. There's some dark iron miners. But what we're going to do in this one, we're going to steal this molten giant that's here at the start. It's guaranteed to be here. And then we're going to send a chimera that's going to go after this molten giant. This molten giant will escort our chimera to Emperor Thaurissan, and then the chimera is going to kill Emperor Thaurissan. In the meanwhile, we can mine a little bit here, we can mine a little bit there, we can spend a dark iron miner and the kobold. We have some defiance bandits that we can use to stun some of the minis that come straight for our base. And we have an execute that we're going to be able to use to get Chimera even rolling even more. And then we have a quill board that we can use for some distraction. But basically, you just try to cycle through your deck so that you will have the Chimera and you will have the Banshee, both available reasonably at the same time, so that you can steal this and have that one escort the Chimera. So that's the key, and then you just win. So this is what the army looks like. It's optimal to use the same 6 minis for all families. You want to get your Banshee into a bonus slot. Typically you can off-slot the Banshee so that it can be very low level, but here, because it actually has a tanking duty, you want to give it the bonus levels. Chimera, I've tested it also with a level 20 Chimera, completely fine. Chimera, of course, also in a bonus slot if possible. The other can be off-slotted as needed. You have some execute power, dark iron miner, defiance bandits, and quill boar. And this is what all 6 families look like in action. First we have Alliance. I was still fine-tuning the comp a little bit here, so that's why there's the Bat Rider instead of the Execute, but it will be optimal to use Execute with Alliance as well. So here, as you can see, the Banshee and the Chimera reasonably at the same time, so that the Molten Giant will be able to escort the Chimera. Use a little bit of distraction sometimes, and we can also go and mine a little bit. I can also go mine on the sides. At this point I wasn't really sure about that yet. This was my 6th kill overall. So I was still trying to find the absolute optimal comp at this point, the optimal strategy a little bit, but it went so well that I just wanted to continue from here. As you can see, a Pyromancer, that would be fatal for a Harpy strategy. It just isn't that fatal for a Chimera strategy. Here we go, Chimeras are poisoning the Emperor. Emperor is desperately trying to hit at the Molten Giant, but oh no, Emperor is already dead. Boom. Next up we do the same thing with the Beast. This time everything didn't go exactly super smooth, but as you can see the strategy is still going to work. So we did get that steal, and then we have the Chimera, and then also a little bit late with the trying to turn the Pyromancer around, so the Pyromancer didn't actually turn around. And yeah, now we're trying to send something out there. Trying to mine a little bit, trying to get to that Emperor. And at this point I'm like, sure, okay, we're just going to win. But actually that Firehammer on the left side is going to be a bit of a problem here. I should have paid more attention to that, because look at that. Look at that furious pounding. Yep, that hurts a little bit. So now I thought, okay, maybe the Emperor dies to the poison, but actually didn't even die to the poison. Well, that's going to be fine. I believe that's still going to be fine. We're playing Charlga, so gold costs can vary a little. I steal one giant there to tank a bit, and I send some bandits out there so that I can kill that Firehammer, so that my base stops taking damage. And then I think about sending a Chimera, but then I think about also like, hey, actually, that Emperor is quite low in health, so maybe, what if I just kill the Emperor? Now the realization dawns on me, and boom, the Emperor is dead. Next up is Blackrock, and back to some smooth sailing. This time no Banshees, okay, I need to cycle a little bit, but hey, I can send miners to the sides, there's nothing coming from the sides. I can send some Defiance Bandits to stun the Giant for a little bit. I can even turn around the Firehammer. So as you can see, the deck can perfectly well cycle through to get the Banshee and the Chimera, no matter what you have. I could have played the Chimera, I guess, sort of could have played it earlier, but I really don't want to, because then typically the Chimera is going to overtake the Giant, and then the Chimera is going to be at Emperor way before the Giant, and then things just go poorly. Here, as you can see, a Warsong Raider breaks through, but I'm sending the Defiance Bandits out there, so they're just going to stun it and smack at it, so it doesn't hurt me too much. Here I managed to somehow lose my original Chimera, but I have a couple of Molten Giants, so this should all still be just fine. I'm just sending another Chimera out there. So it's going to take the Chimera a while, like it's flying, but everything is good. Now Chimera has reached its destination, and the Emperor starts to get poisoned. We have Giants that are tanking it, and yep. That Emperor is so going down. The Cenarion fight was a fun one, because things really didn't go my way in this one, even though they should have, but that just goes to show how sturdy this strategy is. Like, I mean, this is what some people would call a cheese strategy, because you're winning in like 30 seconds, 1 minute or something, but actually, because we're using very low number of minis, we're not really using squads here, so we are not giving the Emperor a lot of material to summon new Molten Giants. We also have very effective defensive tools, and we have a lot of ways to mine, so also we can deny some of the mining from the Emperor. So even when things don't go well with this plan, you're actually just going to be fine anyway. Unlike with some of the hobby strategies, for example, where you may need to get a restart because, okay, hobbies got killed. I need to play a little bit different so that there won't be a pyromancer that kills my hobbies, but not so with this plan. With this plan, you're going to be perfectly fine. So, as you can see here, well, I did not need to let that pyromancer shoot at my Chimera like that. But that was probably unnecessary. But be that as it may, Chimera is doing a fine job out there. Not sure I truly like the Cenarion. And probably wasn't that necessary, and that Chimera is so doomed. Yep. But it's okay, because I have access to a lot of gold. I can mine. I already have one Molten Giant coming. Molten Giant also body blocks those Warsong Raiders, so even though the Warsong Raider has the talent that it's just going to ignore everybody, then it can still get body blocked like that. And then we can also have these bandits who can stun that Raider. The Raider's just not going anywhere. Now we're going to grab ourselves another Giant. So then we'll have 2 Giants that are going to escort the Chimera towards the Emperor. And as you can see, even though this was a slightly longer fight, I didn't get to win with my initial push. I'm still completely fine. So that's like the opposite of what should usually happen with cheese type strategies, I suppose. So boom, it's just a good strategy for this boss. Let's do a couple of more kills now that we're up to speed. So first up, we're going in with some Horde action, and there's those Whelpex in front of Thaurissan. Another one of those starts that are sometimes a little bit awkward if you try to use some hobby strategies here. Now I positioned that Chimera a little bit too up front. It should not overtake the Giant. Now it stops for a while, but will it stop enough? I'm not sure. Might have positioned it a little bit too far, but I try to make up for it with a little bit of Quillbore action. And okay, we managed to get the Giant tanking, and Chimera damage is sticking in. There's a Warsong Raider at my base, but I mean I can just stun it, but I don't even have to, because Thaurissan is dead. And one more time with the feel with the Undead. Alright, so I don't have Chimera, now I have Chimera and I have the Banshee, so I want to cycle until I have them both, so that I can do it like this, exactly like this, so that the Molten Giant goes in first and then the Chimera will fly closely thereafter. And now this is just looking beautiful. Just look at that Molten Giant, big, heavy, stops everything, Defiance Bandits can stun stuff, I can send miners if needed, I can send Quillbore. Now the Giant got a little bit stuck behind the bandits, but I can send a Quillbore to tank a little bit, and then there's bandits coming in as well, and then there's the Giant coming in, so the Emperor just doesn't have time to target the Chimera, and Chimera can withstand a shot from something like a Pyromancer, so yeah, the strategy just doesn't seem to have any weaknesses. The Emperor just keeps going down. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.